Akoye. We got Lou and myself, Boss Show Me. We know the haters are watching. You are welcome to watch as we talk this good football. We got to talk about this nickel, man. And we got to talk about that boy BT Jordan. So let's just kick it off, man. We ain't gonna waste no time, man. Turn that music down. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Now I know you've been doing a lot of content on BT, Akoye. So
what's good? Can I hear you?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You got me turned on?
Yeah, it's up. I turned it up. I had to turn levels up on my mixer.
Okay,
I can hear you way better now.
No, I'm talking about my channel.
I think
you said, is my channel on?
Your channel on. Yeah. Let me see, Lou. You on now?
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Give it about 10 seconds.
Yep.
All right. So now, let's go ahead and start with this BT.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I know you've been really.
Y'all put me on him. So that's what made me go look him up the other time we was when we were live last time. I said, all right, let me check this guy out because I heard y'all mention him. Not just mention him, y'all kept calling him the Ghostwriter. I'm like, come on, man, y'all piping this guy up, man. You know how I am. I'm a natural skeptic. So I was like,
me too.
He calls himself that.
Yeah, y'all pumping it up, but y'all not 100%. Y'all not. I love dude, man. And were you pitching it to me? I don't know if you telling me to talk. I was
because I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Like,
oh man, because it's fresh in my mind, man, and I don't know how y'all feel about him, but I can see the argument for pass rush because I feel like we in good hands. I just dropped a video talking about that because that's how much I respect the work that he put in. Watching the drills and watching the things that he does one-on-one and watching how they translate seamlessly to the game and on the field, I can't take nothing away from him. When I say, like, if you look at guys like Morris, you look at guys like Rashawn's been working with him for a while, but you look at a guy like Rashawn Gary who 2 years ago had made the top 100 at two different positions. Like only I think 3 other players ever did that, right? I think that's a testament to how good this man is, man. When you look at Max Crosby, Malik Collins is one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles on film for me that I've seen in a while. Right? I love watching Malik Collins. And so on. The list goes on. Benito, Cooper. Yeah, it's just crazy. And watching Denver and Seattle.
Right.
Look at Seattle's. Even though he wasn't with Seattle last year, he was with Seattle for 2 years. In those 2 years, you can see the writing is still on the wall. I was watching Bobby Wagner do pass rush moves. I'm like, spin moves and set it up right. So I'm like, you can see the writing on the wall. And I'll say this because I'm a coach myself. So when it comes to boxing, I can watch certain styles and I can tell you, based off of Philly anyway, which gym you were in, based off of the drills you're doing, right? Or based off of some of the things you might do as far as the way you hold your hands or the way you might fight a southpaw. I'd be like, oh, Steve Breadman Edwards, Caleb Plant's trainer is he's a good friend of mine. And I can tell his fighters wherever they are. I know his fighters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think the same as it goes for Brandon T. Jordan as well. Like you can tell when his fingerprint or blueprint is on a player. He has a DNA now, where you can see it. I did a video where I watched Malik Collins do a spin move, and I think Bud Dupree as well, who had worked with him in the past, and it was like almost identical. And one of those guys is a defensive end or outside linebacker versus a 3-tech, right? And they're still seamless, like they were almost identical the way they set their move up. And watching Denver's line and Seattle's line, the entire line is they're all performing high level pass rush moves across the board from inside out. So if he can bring even half that here, we're not in half the trouble I thought we were in, or you guys thought we were in either. I don't think anyway. And you might disagree with me, and that's fine. But I feel a lot more excited watching him work because I look at him and Christian Parker's scheme being a force multiplier for these guys. You know what I mean? And then we still probably could go out and grab one in free agency that couldn't hurt, or the draft. But when you have guys with a high floor like a Mesidor or like a Bain, you can go get those guys and he's just going to take them all the way to the top. But you also can go skip the first round and go get a guy in the third, I think, and he might be more developmental, maybe take a year to get himself right. But working with Brandon T. Jordan, I think will fast track any player that has a pass rush capability. Period. If they have the traits, I think he could work with them. I just love what he does, man.
I would definitely say, bro, When it comes to BT Jordan, I was
Mhm.
literally tagging the Cowboys to hire him, bro,
Wow.
for months. Now, I was doing that because, I got friends that's trainers in Dallas, right? And I just started peeping that, and I heard Mike McCarthy talk about this. He say the DFW area got the best trainers in the world, you know. And
Right.
I was just noticing that BT was doing a lot of work with Denver. And I was like you, I was looking at the work. I was looking at them play. And I was like you said it right. You can see his fingerprint when he's in there. Like you can see all
Yeah.
the nuance moves. You can see the muscle memory. And I could see it because I'm like you, my sons are fighters. You know what I mean? So you know about muscle memory from training and stuff like that. You could tell when they built it in you, where it just
Yep.
same thing with boxing, like a counter boxer. Like those are instincts you got to build in people. They not gonna just wake up like that. You got to do the noodle drills, all kind of counter drills. So many drills that make it instinctive. That's what I saw with BT. So now I don't really have pushback because I called him the home run hire. And this is a tweet that I sent to Dallas right here. I say, thank you, Dallas. This was one of the best moves this offseason. I'm excited for the trenches. The Ghostwriter would do magic. Now, please go get Ronnie Braxton. That's somebody else I'm pushing locally. He's somebody else.
What does Ronnie Braxton do?
Well, he the best at basically having dudes ready to play, and they don't get hurt when he trained them in the offseason.
He does sports medicine and
Yes.
rehab and recovery.
All
of
of
my
it.
son's in school too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Eddie went to school for it, like you saying. So, now my only small pushback is that BT Jordan been working with Gary for years now. That's
Right.
Gary right there, obviously.
Right.
So it's like Gary is already likely plateaued with him versus others wouldn't be, and that's why I'm pushing for
I'm gonna
somebody
put
like
back on that too, but I'll tell you why. But go ahead.
yeah, and so
Go ahead.
and so that's why I want somebody like Kayvon Thibodeau, somebody that has the raw traits, and then you put a
Right.
BT with that upside. Now,
Oh no, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree that bringing another veteran in that can rotate in that room, I'm not against that. Like I said, I just don't want to break the bank to do it. But the reason I push back on the plateau though with Rashawn is two things. One, last year Rashawn wasn't with Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams. That's a whole different ball game when it comes to his abilities on the field. But from his personal pass rush skill set as well, it's a big difference. And I think Seattle's film and Denver's film will kind of prove that. It's a big difference between getting some off-season work with a guy for a couple weeks. I know this because I have fighters that come to me from like Morocco. Shout outs to Anaz Masoudi, right? These guys are Moroccan fighters. They come for footwork drills, right? But when they leave me, I can see after a few months, it starts to wear off. Like they need to come back for a booster, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you have me on the sideline and I'm here with you for the full season, that's a different level. So I do think you're right that he may have plateaued from a sample size type standpoint, but when he gets a full dose of Brandon T. Jordan pause for a full season, I think that will have a different effect on Gary, coupled with the fact that the rest of those guys are getting that tutelage too. So if he's making the rest of that room more chaotic, that only makes Gary better because now all of you guys are like putting together like organized chaos when you're going after the quarterback, and he tailors everything to your unique skill set. So if you're a power rusher, he doesn't try to make you a speed guy. He just tries to help you work with what you have. And if you're a speed rusher, if you look like Benito, when you look at Von Miller on film, they have similar moves. It's like he doesn't try to make a guy who's a speed rusher a power rusher. He's not a one-trick pony, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So I think that Ezeraku will get the best bang for his buck from him, and then I think guys like Gary as well. But the force multiplier is the fact that if you have a line full of guys that have sort of optimized their skill set, that only makes Gary better as far as productivity on the field as well. So I agree that he may have plateaued from the sample, but I think having him here makes all those guys better, which is ideal. And I'm talking about linebackers as well. If we went and got like a Sonny Styles or someone like that, he's teaching him too. So the things that you might like about Arvell Reese, and you say he might be slightly better than Styles in regards to pass rushing, Styles has the traits that you can develop him into something when it comes to pass rusher, and Demo has shown that he has that capability as well. So I'm just excited about that entire front seven working with him to some capacity.
Absolutely. Can I say one more thing before you go in here? One more thing.
Yeah.
This is where I think the Cowboys could be cheap, because you almost want to give your coaches a chance to see if they can turn them before you spend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But a hard deadline to me would be the trade deadline. It's like, all right, we giving you up to the trade deadline to really show me something, and then we go invest into an edge. We gonna have to go find it. But this type of coach deserve his chance to be able to turn guys. I agree with that. You know what I mean? Like, because coaches, shit, they can. Like, real dope technical coaches, they can turn you. They can turn you to dope.
100.
It's no way to look at Malik Collins and not see his work. I'm sorry. He's night and day different when you watch Collins with after BT.
I got some of his Cowboy film too. Was he working with him when he was with the Cowboys?
I don't think so, bro. I think he
took
off with him.
Oh yeah, after he left.
Yeah. Okay, you could really see him turn up when he got with the Texans. That's where you could really see BT work. Yeah. Right. Collins became a totally different player, bro. Like, Collins now. Go ahead, Lou. I ain't mean to.
Oh, you good? Yeah, I was just saying he's a real good hire. I hope this movement we can do it for all of our positions. Like, even like when we were needing offensive line help, calling, it don't have to be a guy in Manyweather, but just bringing in. Hopefully, it's a movement for like multiple positions, just getting guys in here. But yeah, I do. One thing I want, like, where I got pushback on is like, I don't want. Just because we have a great teacher in here, it gives us an outlet for us to be cheap on purpose. Because I do view him as a multiplier, but I want him to multiply from 10 to 20 rather than 5 to 15. Because at the end of the day, even with him here, I still don't think even with the teaching is still enough. And the reason why I say that, because all the people he's been with, they actually were intentional on what they were building in their entire room. And I don't think the Dallas Cowboys have been intentional with the edge room, even on the cheap side. Like when he went with Seattle, they had Uchenna Nwosu, right? They had Darrell Taylor, who was a second rounder. They even had a rookie year Boye Mafa, who ended up turning into something later on. He was with the Buffalo Bills. They had a Greg Rousseau. They had a Leonard Floyd who got back to the 10.5 sacks, but Leonard Floyd was with Brandon Staley with the Rams, also had 10.5 sacks. They had AJ Espinosa, who we just saw. They had a Von Miller, Ed Oliver. Miami Dolphins had a Jalen Phillips, who we just seen got traded to the Eagles, but he got paid by the Panthers. They even had a Bradley Chugg, Emmanuel Ogba come out of Oklahoma State, Christian Wilkers, and a Zach Sealer. Like when he was with the Broncos, we should already know those 10. They had Bradley Chubb. They had some of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the league. They just had somebody get paid, and John Franklin Myers, I think his name was. But so my whole point is, when we look at the Dallas Cowboys room right now, is Gary, Sam Williams, Donovan Ezaraku, then you got a converted linebacker in Maris. I feel like these guys are going to be better than what they were, but are they going to give us enough to be something I can count on? You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I don't know who is the alpha within the room. I am excited for Donovan Ezaraku, but I'm not excited next year. Because I don't think that's fair to him. He just had a hip injury. At least for the first 5 to 6 games, I want to see what he looked like. And then Sam Williams, I'm nervous at this point. He's gonna be better, but the reason why I'm low on him and Gary, because at this certain age, I feel like you can't learn new skills. Now we got to hone into what you're good at. You feel me? So I don't want a reason for us getting BT Jordan and saying he's an amplifier and giving him rocks and trying to turn into diamonds. I want to give him diamonds and he turns into something else. You know what I'm saying? Like
true. Like if you take a Bane and you polish that up, that's right. But here's the thing, right? And this should make y'all very happy. This philosophy, and I don't know if anybody else, maybe you guys floated this out there, because like I said, I don't know the full conversation you guys had about Crosby, right? But what do you guys think about this? If I'm Jerry and I'm looking to land Max Crosby, right? And I see that the Ravens went after him, they grabbed him. My doctor reviewed him, so we trust Dr. Cooper, right? He's one of our guys. My doctor reviewed the knee and saw that there was, there was a little bit of scar tissue in the meniscus, right? So he said he muddied the waters. So now nobody will touch Max Crosby, obviously, at this point. So he has to wait and see once the season starts how that knee shows up. So if I'm Jerry and I'm thinking, how can I keep all of this year's draft picks and still land Max Crosby? This is the how. You keep your draft picks, you draft whoever you're going to draft. You don't have to use any of that draft capital on Crosby. And you watch through training camp to see how that knee's doing. You watch the first 4 games of the season, and you already know he wants to get out of there. And now you get if he's wanting a contract, he's going to give you a discount even if he wants an extension when he gets here, because he knows, he has nowhere else to go. Nobody's checking for him at this point, right? And you have the inside track with your doctor, who you kind of, it could be corporate espionage. You might have sent him there to muddy the waters in that regard. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is the Max Crosby chapter may not be over at all, because I would much rather trade next year's first round pick during the season for him, like we did with Micah Parsons and Kenny Clark in the beginning of the season. We can trade next year's draft capital, first round pick and first and second. I wouldn't even care, as long as we get all 8 of these picks, and then going into the season we get to trade for him. Then that would be, to me, an A+ off season if we go ahead and grab whoever we're grabbing in this draft, and we're still able to land a guy like that in the beginning of the next season. So I agree that they're all question marks outside of Gary, and Gary's not an A guy in that room. You're right, he's not the alpha in that room, and the rest of those guys are all question marks. You don't know what Morris is going to be. You hope that he'll be better. You don't know how Ezaraku is doing as far as his hip, but they know, and if they're concerned with it, I'm pretty sure they'll do something before training camp. And then also, you don't know what Houston and how those guys are going to develop. But I think the Cowboys are aware of that. So I think they go in with a rookie. They'll draft one. And then if they don't go out and get a marquee free agent like Thibodeau, not a free agent, but a marquee rusher like a Thibodeau, or marquee trade or free agent, right? Then I think going into this season, that's probably their plan, to go out and make a big splash, depending on how the first 4 games go for both Max Crosby and us. Like if we're jumping out the gate and his coaching seems to be catching, that entire room, maybe you don't do it. But if they're struggling after week 4 to generate pressure, it might happen. And I think that makes way more sense then than now, right?
Makes sense. Everything you said makes sense, because the Dallas Cowboys generally do better on their second run through, because they tried Quentin Williams on the first run through with Micah, and it was womp. But they made their second pass at the trade deadline and got the deal done. I see it happening just like that. I don't want it like that. I don't.
Yeah, I
don't want it like that.
We gotta sacrifice and see the worst in order for us to get it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a lot of dominoes that gotta fall into place.
Right.
Like we gotta imagine what had to fall into place for us to even get Quentin Williams. Like the Jets had to say, you know what, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And they traded Sauce Gardner away. You know what I'm saying? And began the fire sale just like hours before the actual deadline. Like it was actually a deadline making that deal at that time. So I 100% agree with that.
But the second pass, you right on that, Akoye. We generally do better on the second pass. Like we did that with Brandon Cooks. Because the first one, they was trying to get a second rounder. By the time we made that second pass around, he was gone for a 5th. So I think it's a stir down. I think this is a stir down.
Yep. And you got to think about it this way, right? Jerry is a buy low, sell high type of guy. He don't want to buy when the price is this high. Like during free agency, when everybody's in a frenzy, this is not the best time to go make big purchases for your team, right? And I think he's going to stick to that until the day he dies. Knock on wood, hope nothing happened to him. But I think he's going to stick to that to the day he dies. So now, what happened to Max Crosby just now? It sounds crazy because he's blaming it on the Ravens. It looks like the Ravens backed out on him, but I think it may have been Jerry. You know what I'm saying? I really do think that. But at the end of the day, if now nobody wants to touch him, like he's toxic. Nobody wants to touch him because of that knee. That's the perfect situation for Jerry, because it gave him the leverage that he wants with that trade. So if he's asking like what type of money is he looking for if he comes here, and so on, I think this conversation is a little more amenable to the Cowboys than than it would have been right now if we'd have went after him. He would have asked for the world, because if we go after you when the price is the highest, that tells you how desperate the Cowboys are for pass rush, and he's going to take us to the rails for that, right? He can't do that in the middle of next season. He'll be happy just to get out of there.
Yeah. So what we would have to hope for is another toxic ass Raider season.
What you think gonna happen?
It's likely, but they building that deep nicest.
Maybe, but he still went out though. If he see what they building, more, he know better than we do, and he still wanted to.
He said he don't want another rebuild. He been there, done that. Like he done with the eggs. Yeah. Like they made promises we was gonna turn it around before. And they did.
That's how we knew he wanted to go. When people were telling us, "How y'all know Max Crosby wanted to go?" We turned on that film. The way he plays with effort, he plays on every down, doesn't come out. Dope. He's out there on field goal, and they came and tapped him on the shoulder, said, "Hey man, go get that surgery." That was all the disrespect you need. That's how we knew he wanted to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who care about the game. And we got to forget about it. This man came off, he fought drug addiction, alcohol addiction, everything like that. This man is cherishing every moment in the league, and you wasting it away because you want to tank. Nah, there's just certain people ain't gonna be cool with that. Organizations tank. Players and coaches don't. Ask for
it. Yeah. Now that's the thing that's holding him back too. So I know he's like doubly upset about that at this point. But I'm just, like I said, I thought about that after we had did our show. And I'm like, there's two things I wanted to mention that we didn't mention. I just mentioned one with Gary not playing with Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. I think that's a force multiplier on the field. Yeah. But then the Max Crosby trade aspect, I think you can put yourself in position to get both those guys and have both of those guys by week 8 of next year. So I don't think that, or someone comparable. It doesn't have to be Max, but it could be somebody that we all respect. Yeah. But I think that's definitely going to be addressed, because the Cowboys, they're not slow. Like, they know what's in that room. I don't think Jerry, I hope Jerry wouldn't be that stubborn. I don't think he's that stubborn. When we need a receiver, now he goes and gets what we need, but he tries to get it for the best price available. Like when we got Stephon Gilmore and Cooks that year you guys were talking about. We always go out and grab somebody that, the fans will shut up over, but he does it his way. Yeah.
I got a question.
Like Pickens. Go ahead.
So you mentioned like Gary playing with Quinnen and Kenny Clark in the force multiplier. Wouldn't you say Micah has a greater force multiplication on the field because he commands more attention than the average D tackle? And what gives us confidence that he can do something just different? Now it's better, just something different than what he did.
It would need to be different. Last year, what gives me confidence in Gary, last year up until week 8, which nobody really talks about either, is Gary was leading the league in sacks until week 8. He was, right? Last year, they changed the defense because Micah Parsons wasn't getting the productivity he wanted, and they changed the defense after that, during the last stretch of the season. And then Micah Parsons gets hurt. Gary I don't think he lost effectiveness in games. Like, I think he was effective. His issue is still his issue. I think he was countering a little too late. He was waiting for the tackles to reset before he would counter, and that was his issue. I think Brandon T. Jordan can work with him on that at least. But the reason it's different between Micah and Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, number one, is 2 of those guys. Number 2, it's A-gap pressures versus another C-gap pressure, another guy rushing from the outside that's kind of like rotating from the outside. And when you watch a lot, I finally watched his pass rushes from the first 7 weeks. Yesterday, I did that. And when I watched those, he was effective when it comes to cleanup and even winning. He was winning. Mm-hmm. But the issue was Wyatt and those guys in the middle, they weren't pushing that A-gap. They weren't pushing the pocket that much. So the quarterback most of the quarterbacks they played had time to step up in the pocket, even though Micah's chasing you like hell all over the place. Yeah, but it's from the outside mainly. And Micah would even do better if he has a guy that's making it so that you can't step up as well. I think defensive tackles that can penetrate the A-gap make everybody better. It makes everybody's job easier, because when you rush wide like Micah likes to do, if he can't step up, you're going to get more sacks out of that just off default. So I think that would have helped both those guys if they would have had a Kenny Clark there or a Quinnen Williams there. So That's my answer in regards to why I think it's different with Micah. But I think Micah was that force multiplier because, as we said, Gary was leading the league in sacks up until they changed that defense to more suit how to move Micah around like a chess piece versus saying, hey, you just line up opposite Gary and go get it. Gary was doing the damn thing when he was doing that.
So I'll just say this, man. The biggest concern, and then we can move to nickel, is historically how people from the Vic Fangio tree seems to do better with a war daddy. So, you know.
Why do you say, like, who was his war daddy when they won the Super Bowl? Who do you say? I thought it was Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I don't think they had a war daddy, unless y'all calling a healthy Sweat a war daddy. Is that the war daddy? Like, who was their war
Sweat
daddy?
in that specific Super Bowl should have been an MVP.
Sweat did ball.
Yeah, he should have been an MVP outside
but
of Hurts.
But you put Sweat on the so unpack war daddy for me, because it's a new term to me. Yeah. So when you say it, I look at a guy like Max Crosby as a war daddy. So he's a war daddy.
No doubt.
Sweat and him are in the same category to me. So what's a war daddy?
So the war daddy is somebody,
the guy that everybody, like, to me, Quentin Williams is a guy that everybody in that locker room was looking to for an answer in a crucial moment. That's how I look at it, and he's the guy that everybody's going to rally to. Is that what you mean, or what is it that you're saying?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because that gives me a chance to clarify. And you're right, we probably ain't clear on it. We basically,
because I don't know what it means. I don't know what you mean.
And I'm glad you asked that, because obviously I'm not clear. So when I say war daddy, I'm talking about a guy that's gonna get after the quarterback. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's why. Remember when we did the film breakdown? You said, "I see why y'all was high on Sweat." Because that's what we specifically looking for. You know what I'm saying? Where we'll take a little bit off the run. You know what I'm saying? We'll take a little bit off of that to give me much better in terms of getting after the quarterback. Somebody that can win on third down. Lou, can you go into that? I'm going to pull up your tweet that showed the history of those guys with sacks and how they performed under Vic, you know?
You talking about the history? Yeah. So we know that Vic runs that too high system, and I feel like what people don't understand is football is a numbers game, and what we got to understand, the most lethal defenses that when they're in the Super Bowl, what makes them lethal, if they can get there with four, that's it. You know what I'm saying? If I got 5 offensive linemen and you can't block 4, it's over. And I feel like that's why we're so high on getting somebody that's a for sure can win, given a two-way go within that, because throughout the history of Vic Fangio, I feel like he put a lot of emphasis in that. And I can tell Christian Parker does the same thing, because in his interview with Brian Broaddus, he mentioned, hey, the guys up front, you got to pay to play in order to do this scheme.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they have an emphasis on that. And the reason why I know this for sure is because if you think about it, Vic was the DC when they traded for Khalil Mack, when they did that blockbuster trade. The Eagles right now had their hat in the ring for every major high end tier 1 high price defensive end, whether it be Myles Garrett, was been far-fetched. They was even trying to, deal them to us from us with Micah. We had to put a poison pill in the whole contract and everything like that. And even they had in the name. And I'm still scared to this day of them with Max Crosby, because I know how crazy how he is.
They made 2 big attempts at him. 2.
Yeah. So I just feel like I think it's the common theme I found in terms of high sack production from at least 1 or 2 guys or war daddy in the too high system. I feel like that's when we're getting the top Vic Fangio defense, where he can drop as many as he really wants to, get very crafty in them zones, and just get out there with sending the least amount of resources possible. Whether if we had a different defense, I promise you I wouldn't be on this. If we had an aggressive style defense,
But if I can just give you a pushback on that, right? Check this out, because I think one thing we're missing when it comes to the pass rush, because I saw this a lot in Zimmer's scheme as well. Zimmer creates situations where everything looks the same, just like we kind of do this now. Like Fangio does it as well. Everything looks similar. So most quarterbacks have to figure out what's going on post snap when it comes to playing Fangio, and also, so if you're not a post snap quarterback that can assess, get through your progressions, climb the pocket and make a good fast decision, Dak can do that. So Dak has made them look kind of crazy sometimes, like when we came back last year. But most quarterbacks, especially Dak when he was younger, Vic thought he was the answer to Dak Prescott because he had to learn to do that, right? So most quarterbacks can't really deal with that. So the secondary is a part of the reason that those guys are getting so many sacks as well, because of the coverages that he runs. He runs that too high shell, like you said. It's harder to just push the ball downfield. You have to hold the ball a little longer to assess what's going on. And if that's the case, that gives those guys a little bit more time to pursue. Last year, I think our rush was even better than we even think it was, because you have guys playing 15 yards off the ball. You're not going to get there. They're going to get rid of the ball in a couple seconds. Right. It would be below the 2.5. So Facts. I think you're right when it comes to wanting or needing a pass rusher. But at the same time, I think we're discrediting what the scheme does provide on the back end, forcing the quarterback to hold the ball a little longer for those guys to work. I think they work hand in hand as far as schematically. So although those guys were getting those high sack numbers with this scheme, I think the scheme provides that to them as well. Although Sweat is like a difference, because Sweat left and did it. He wasn't really doing that with Fangio. He was averaging like 8 sacks with Fangio, but I think it was more so he was asked to do things differently. Like his responsibilities might have been a little different with the Eagles than they are with Arizona. Obviously, different schemes.
Yeah.
But you made a good point with that. But I just wanted to add that because I'm saying
that's
coverage
fair.
Does matter. I think that has to play into it. You know what I mean? If you have nowhere to go with the ball, those guys got, all the time in the world to get to you. And when you're looking at guys like look how fast Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams were winning when they got one-on-ones last year. It wasn't like they were struggling with one-on-ones. They were destroying any one-on-one in front of them last year. They just didn't have the time to get to you, because guys like Brissett and even Russell Wilson and J.J. McCarthy, they got all the time. They had time to get the ball off because there's guys open. Even on plays where J.J. McCarthy was missing, like Justin Jefferson, he was missing because there was somebody in his face, but Justin Jefferson's wide hell open. You know what I'm saying? He's wide open. If he's not open and you have to kind of assess or come off of that first read against this front seven, I think they'll be a lot better for it. So I'm not disagreeing that having a guy on the outside that is elite wouldn't help, and that they might, jump out there. Like I do remember the Khalil Mack trade. You're right about that. But I'm not saying they shouldn't or won't jump out there with a trade. I just don't think that we're giving enough credit to what the coverages might afford those guys in the front.
It's gonna be better.
Yeah,
it's gonna be better.
It's gonna definitely be better. But I'm not saying like coverage doesn't matter. I'm just saying like, when everywhere he's gone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man of patterns and science.
Me too.
I really pay attention to, how you do in your natural habitat. Everywhere you go, you are putting resources up front.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That tells me, he has a lot of strength in his coverage, in his zones, but we know there's holes in the zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best way to beat a too high defense is to protect. Give the quarterback time. Let him get to that third progression. It's open every time, no matter. There is no perfect coverage. You know what I'm saying? And when Christian Parker is mentioning his core values, the first thing that come out of his mouth, yes, is stopping the run, but then he wants to get after the quarterback. That's not just coverage sacks. That's disruption.
Yeah,
he wants to force. He want to disrupt timing.
Both of those are true. Both of those are true.
Yeah, both of those are true. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think we need a disruptor.
You're right, but even from your pay-to-play statement that we quoted him talking about, you have to pay to play. Look at Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, Rashawn Gary. He has some of those guys up front that are high draft picks or high commodity players. He does, and then even Ezeraku, although he's a second-round pick, Ezeraku is I would argue like a tweener. If you'd have got him late in the first round, I don't think anybody would have said he's not worth the first round. You know what I'm saying? So. I think they have some of those pieces up front already. Could they use a Bane? I think so. Like, they're all in Miami right now for Miami.
They want Bane, bro.
So that tells you that Bane and Mesidor are guys that they're looking at.
Yeah.
So could they use a guy like that? Of course. You know what I mean? Of course. But I think we have some of those pieces up front already. And then with 2 first-round draft picks, you're going to add I'm thinking a linebacker in that room that's also going to be
Yeah.
in that front seven, causing some havoc from the middle of the field, along with Demo, who I think if he's on two healthy knees, we already saw what he can do in the backfield. You know what I mean? He had like 12 tackles for loss and 8 sacks or something like that. I don't remember, but something like that under
But
Zimmer. I think he was killing
it
it.
doesn't seem like he's gonna be rushing though. You know, like because he needs these Fangio defenses. Where the Eagles at?
Well, Zach Bond rushes pretty much.
See, yeah, I knew it. See, these Fangio two-house shells defenses, they're not. Yeah, the Kobe Dean does. Yeah, he's one. That's why I want him. He's a hell of a blitzer. He'll destroy a running back for sure.
Oh,
a
man,
power back for sure. But the reason why, like, I already knew it. Like we're at the bottom half of the league in terms of blitz rate. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna rely on this 4-man rush a lot.
Right. Let me get into this chart real quick with you, Lou. So, because this chart makes both points. So you can look at the Cowboys, they low on disguise rate, but they also low on blitz rate, right? So what Akoye was saying is when you have a low disguise rate and the quarterbacks have confidence on where they go get the ball to, that affects your pass rush. So when you're looking at the Eagles, they have a high disguise rate. So like he was saying, post snap, you know, once they hike the ball, the quarterback is going to be not as decisive, which helps your pass rush. So, so, you know, that's why I said both are true. Like both are true to where you're going to be better because of the scheme. You're going to be better because of the scheme. What we trying to do is not get caught with our pants down where you need that pass rusher, especially in certain situations, because this to me is the big point. Like we always talk about how Fangio's defense got off when he had a war daddy or a guy that was able to win and get them sacks, right? You can go through this list and see that that's a trend, that where his defense was at the top when he had that guy, you know, from the interior sometimes and on the edge as well. But this is the scary part. When it was no elite edge, you saw the complete opposite. That's the thing that's scary. It's to where when it was kind of like how we're built right now, where we have a committee of guys and no kind of war daddy or a sack artist or a guy you can lean on to win, especially on third downs. We saw the same trend, not just with Vic. I saw it also with one of his pupils, Coach Evero. You see what I'm saying? I saw it with him too. When he lost, cause see, I started looking deep into this because Lou was sending me deeper. Lou was like, bro, we need to go look at that tree. So he would go pull up some names and I would go look at them and I would go look at the history. And I saw that they did have Brian Burns. He wanted Brian Burns. The GM got away from Brian Burns and they defense suffered when they didn't have that war daddy. So I just don't want to get caught with our pants down, bro. That's the main thing. That's it.
Do you think that you see big paws on the pup with Mesidor and Bain as being one of those guys that maybe not on our old teams, right, in the old scheme, but surrounded by the locker room that we have teamed with this scheme and Brandon T. Jordan and so on, with the high floor that both those guys have. You don't think that they can come in, and they don't need to be a guy that comes in and gives us 12 sacks. I'm not saying that, but you don't think they can come in and be the type of players, each of them, you know, the type of players that can give you 6 to 8 in your first year with a rotational guy in front or behind them. You don't think that they can do that?
Yeah.
And then that other guy, like let's say, you know, Ezzy or Ezzy and Mars, to whoever they're rotating with, they account for the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another 6 between the two or more. You know what I mean? I hope better than that, but you don't think that you can get that productivity that way versus having it come from one guy? And then you obviously within the next years, I see Bang growing into something. I think Bang's coming in, and so is Mesidor. Mesidor's 25, so he might be coming in with grown man strength too. He might not be like those 20-year-old guys that need to get that full off-season workout in to be able to, you know, get their full strength. Mesidor might be there already.
Right.
He has injury concerns though, but you know he might be there.
I mean, the only thing is, like, I'm gonna be honest. Even with Bane, I think Bane is closer to having some impact, but Mesidor, I would love the pick, but I wouldn't count on him immediately because I do see a lot of things he need to work on. And that BT
He
Jordan,
gets
like he's
lazy
gonna
in the
need like
second
a
half of the
season.
game with his hands. Go ahead, my bad.
Like part of me, that's what I said last. A part of me sees the ugly side of Sam Williams in him, where like I pray that he develops this technical side. I really do. It's like I said, like he'll get lazy in the games
He
in
got
terms
better
of like
hands than
run
Sam, though.
defense, like block deconstruction. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a hell of a stunner. I'm talking about like like he can stun his ass. He can bang into that guard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
His
saying?
first step crazy.
His first step is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like there's another side to it, and then, like even with that strength, I don't want to count on anybody D-line strength. I'm gonna be honest with you. Come out of college, I'm telling y'all right now. I will tell y'all to y'all face.
Yeah.
These
The
offensive
grown
linemen
man
ain't
strength,
playing with
yeah.
y'all. They are grown. Hey, I'm telling you right now. I keep saying this.
No,
I
you
say this
right.
with defensive
You right,
tackles. They
brother.
are not playing with y'all. They will put your ass in that
the
MF
dirt.
and dirt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. You stun in on Landon Dickerson. He was nice to us,
Yeah.
but a nasty Landon Dickerson will fold your shit.
That's
I'm just
right.
letting you know real quick. Like I'm being honest with you, and
He
that
broke his
stunt,
back,
that
bro,
half
so
man slide.
he ain't good. You're right, though. Yeah, healthy
You know,
Landon
you know what I'm saying? Or my Lotta 6'8" with that long ass.
I
You
saw what
better be
Lotta
technically
did to
sound.
Ezzy last year. He was just yoking Ezzy up, man. I'm like, but Ezzy needs to. That's why I said Brandon T might be good for him because he needs to start hand fighting
Yeah,
before guys get into his frame. And so does Sam. They don't do it enough. They don't fight the hands. They fight the man, and that's why they keep losing those pass rushes. They got to fight the hand. They're not doing it well enough. Because
and our
I think
division is getting
Ezzy is the
stronger.
finesse guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think our
I mean,
division is getting stronger and stronger in terms of O-line play. I'm slowly but surely. Like Washington trying to build something.
Yeah.
They got ready. They just threw a bag at my guy from Ole Miss, 78. You know what I'm saying? They got some tackles now. Connolly.
Yeah.
With Harbaugh, I can almost guarantee that Harbaugh's going to fix that New York offensive line. You feel me? I love Jakas. I ain't gonna lie. I love Jakas. Jakas is my pet cat. But yeah, I love Gabe Jakas.
But let me go back to real quick what Akoye said. I feel better about Bane than anybody in terms of the best chance at immediate impact, and I don't even trust him. You know what I'm saying? Where like I feel the best about him, but I don't feel good about him. Cause
I ain't expect you to say that at the end of the joint. They like, I feel the best about you. I still don't trust you. Like, don't
keeping
matter.
it real, bro. And the reason why I say that, like, we know Chase. Remember Chase was coming out of Ohio State? Everybody swore he was gonna hit the ground and just smoke everything. That boy took him a nice. He took him a nice
But that's the other thing you gotta look at, right? It's like, that is true. You got guys that come out that's supposed to be, crushers, and they really not it. They don't.
And they
don't
still develop slow.
Yeah.
So, so to answer your question, I do feel good about Bane, but not good enough. I would feel better about a vet, like somebody that got league experience winning, like even like a Sweat or Thibodeau. And I would love Thibodeau. I would love Thibodeau.
I would love Thibodeau.
I mean, Thibodeau with Brandon T. Jordan, I think I would like to. But I keep looking at Thibodeau as not like when Burns came in there and just like ran right past you. Get what I'm saying? And this was supposed to be, he was touted. And then you got a guy like Carter came. They got a lot of guys in there that's supposed to be a guy. And Thibodeau seems like he's just one of the guys. He's never really gave me idea that we are like game planning for you. Like you are going to be a game buster for us. I don't look at him as that guy. Yeah. Maybe he can be with this line, with this defensive line in this room. He has the moves for it, but he just never had that. He just never tipped to that point where I said like he a problem, like a whole problem that he just going to destroy that side of the field. I've seen teams that we play like even I know y'all don't like him because y'all said he was hurt last year, but y'all liked his 2024 tape. I feel like Grenard gave us more problems last year than Thibodeau, and we see Thibodeau twice a year. You know what I'm saying? Grenard in that one game was giving us fits, although our offensive line was a little banged up too. But Grenard was a problem in that game. You know what I mean? It to the point where I didn't know who he was until that game. I said, "Who is that? That's running circles around our guys like that." So, I mean, I don't hear his name that often when y'all talk about guys that we are on the radar with, who I think can come in and have a great impact. I'm not saying Thibodeau can't. I will watch his full film for him 2025 to see what he was doing because I want to be fair to him. I don't want to disrespect his game, but I've never had that flash that makes me say, because that's how I do it anyway. I'll be watching the game, and like I said, I didn't know who Grenard was. I just watching the game. Who's 58? I said, damn, let me go look into him. I've never done that for Thibodeau. I never said like, let me dive into Thibodeau, because he's never done anything in the game that makes me say like he's taken over. I haven't seen him take over a game against us anyway. Maybe he has in spots in the last few years. So I got to be fair to him, but I haven't seen it. So that's why I'm not high on him. He has all the moves.
You're right, but I really
point
encourage you to
the game for me too, because I'm not saying like it's a challenge. I mean, tell me where it's at, and I'm gonna go look at it.
Just you can watch every game he plays versus us, because there's every game. Like I do a thing on my channel where I watch like specifically the O line and D line. When I say that the reason why he's not game playing for him, I don't think anybody on the Giants D line is game playing for him. Not because they're not good enough, it's because they have too much.
Yeah.
You can't literally game plan for anybody on that D line because you got big Dexter. Matter of fact, take it back. We game plan for Dexter Lawrence because it's like, you know what I'm saying, because he's the big one. We'll keep 2 on him. Burns, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous, underrated ends that I've been on for a very long time.
I think he stole Thibodeau sacks, to be honest with you, bro. I think he was just wrecking shop like that. Yeah, he basically took that boy food.
He took it away. Because he's a technician. Like, he gives us trouble. Like, I'm talking about, especially in 2024, before we even got Clayton Adams and Connor Riley, when we got coaching, when we had Solari, and Solari was teaching us the bad technique of setting too wide. Oh, you want to know the ends that whooped our ass? It was Thibodeau and Burns, like every single time, because they have the length.
That's the point.
And they have
Burns is a guy that I've already looked at Burns' film, because he's a guy. I said, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's a guy that jumped off the film for me already in game. So I dive into his film because of that. You know what I mean? So I give you that, but like I said, I look at it that way. I look at it like, you know, he can definitely come in and be a guy. I don't want to die on that hill like Thibodeau trash. I don't think he's bad. I just don't look at him as the guy. He's not the man in his own hood, so to speak. You know what I mean?
But his hood is
gangster. We saying there's a war daddy, you know, war daddy that we're trying to get. He's not the war daddy where he at. You know what I'm saying? The war daddy where he is Burns.
He may not get the sack, or he is whooping the hell out.
Yeah,
he may not get the sack, but he's whooping the hell out of his he's whooping his assignment. I would say he's whooping his assignment.
But would you say he's the war daddy in his team, though? Would y'all say
hell no, that's Burns.
It's Burns.
So then we would still be thirsty for one then, right? We would still want a war daddy if we got him.
Yeah.
The whole point in getting the guy is we get the work. You get the guy that you're saying is like that everybody can rally around. That's going to create even more sacks for everybody in that room.
Right.
He'll do something, but I don't think he's the guy that you can rally around. You know what I mean?
I think he got the potential.
Impact player.
I'm gonna put it like this. I think he is headed toward trending where Burns was trending. You know, because see, it was a reason why the Panthers let Burns go just for a second rounder. They wouldn't do that today. They hell no. Hell no. They wouldn't do that today. They did that because he was sporadic, just like Thibodeau. But then when he got to the Giants, he took off like a rocket. And I think, I think if you put the right things around Thibodeau, he could have a resurgence. Now, it is a little bit of shot in the dark, but it's betting on that upside. That's all it is. It's saying we go take your upside, which is top 5, right? Put that with BT Jordan, the Ghostwriter, and we go really try to restore you to greatness that you're supposed to be when you was drafted. And he was playing injured. I think he ran up on a hot ass Burns, and Burns took his he took his food. Just keeping it real.
What was hurt on him? Was it lower or higher extremity?
I know he talked about it. I could play the clip right here. I would just have to turn on the volume because he spoke about it in the first 5 minutes.
I don't like lower extremities on a defender because they heal slower. You know what I mean? But it depends on what it was.
Yeah. So
now, his elbow with the brace or no?
I know he said
he always had that on though. I think he had that in his rookie year.
Oregon. Yeah.
Let me turn him on because I can play it now. But basically, he said at his mouth, he said he was playing through something. That's what he said himself. Because I listened to this whole interview. I
trust the word. You ain't got to find it.
Is it on the report?
What it was?
I don't know if it's on the report. I just know he said it. I know he said that last year I was playing through some injuries. Let me see. Because I think it's right here, bro. Y'all give me 1 second. And this ain't for you, Akoye. This is just for the people that's listening. Let me just
No,
turn it
I'm
on.
doing it too.
Let me turn it on real quick.
Talks with them about
I think
that.
he was more affected.
What are you expecting? What are you going to be looking for an extension this offseason?
I don't have any expectations. I think, right now I just kind of want to just let things settle. There's a
was a
lot of
shoulder.
uncertainties moving forward.
It was a
with,
shoulder. Okay.
Our team. So
Mhm.
I just kind of want to wait
Same
until
injury as,
things get figured out to
Bernard.
kind of focus on those.
You're a veteran. What do you hope for? The qualities you hope for in a new coach?
Someone that
All right, so I
pushes
can
us.
turn
I think
that
we
shit
got a
off.
lot of.
All right, but he said it during that interview. I remember he said it. Now I want to kind of pivot to the other thing that we've been to. Did y'all have any other thoughts on that, or did we pretty much hammer kind of concerned?
No, y'all. I mean, yeah, I think
No,
we agree that there's holes on the other side of Gary for sure. We need something else over there. But what it's going to be, I think the Cowboys understand that too. So I think what it's going to be will be revealed during or before training camp for sure. But I think they're waiting right after the draft. We'll find out. That's what I think. But I don't think we're going to go into training camp with just our draft pick and no more free agents on the outside. I think they're going to do something. They're either going to trade or something. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think we're going to go into the season with what we have right now because everybody's like unproven. I look at Sam Williams as a tweener between special teams and rotational piece. I think they really gave him a contract because he's a special teams ace, but he's a guy that's trying to prove it on the outside. That's not something you can build on, right? If they thought that, they would have gave him more than a 1 year deal. So, and then Mars has no clue as to how to play the position. Yeah, he's just starting over there. So, as a Rocco's injury. So, like I said, I think they're aware of that. So they're going to do something. So I don't think it's really no argument there.
So I want to just say this real quick to wrap up my thoughts on this. I pray that the Cowboys are aggressive right before the draft. Like right before the draft. The reason is because how many chances are we going to have this much capital for a player? How many chances are we going to have to be able to have a pick 12 with capital? So if you go be able to make a run at a dope ass dude, this is likely your year to do it without where you would feel it, but you wouldn't just like feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you have more than
Yeah.
enough assets to do it now. So to me, the timing of the Cowboys is now, dog. Now. You know what I'm saying?
And we're so close too. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm pushing. We so close. I just did a show on it today. Like we are so close from being like I'm talking about a team.
Dope.
I would take over anybody.
Yes. I'm talking
Like
about the whole squad.
I'm finna, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm finna get like if they add a couple, I'm finna get to an annoying part to the rest of the league. I'm
real.
getting to that. That's how
Yeah.
confident I am. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest with you. Like
No,
if
we are built.
Philly say anything to
think
me,
the
I'm getting to that
defense-
point.
Yeah, we got a defense now that I think even with the glaring holes,
We
you
good.
got a winning defense. I
Yeah.
think it's middle of the pack, 15
Yeah,
to
middle of the
20
pack.
right now.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right. So
agree.
I do believe that we top 10 easily with another pass. Well, I don't want to say pass rusher, another edge that can do everything. I don't want just like I said, I don't want that guy that's a liability on first and second down that's trying to get even when you watch a lot of the film, if you have guys like when we were watching Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams last year, if you have a guy flying off the edge taking poor angles, right, you're giving quarterbacks an escape route and where that kill zone is created because Clowney and those guys are rushing upfield, staying in their lanes, but that was creating like a kill zone for Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams to work, especially when we were in our 5-man fronts. That's why it was working so effectively. We were getting one-on-ones across the board, and it took away the need to stunt. We didn't need to stunt as much. You notice we weren't stunting that often when they were doing twists in the inside with the defensive tackles, but they weren't stunting from the outside anymore. And I think that was a lot of the reason we were getting beat on counters and outside runs as well, because we were traditionally a stunt team. And I didn't know until I think DQ left that the defensive line had the right to stunt whenever they wanted under him, right? They can stunt. They had the choice. They can stunt whenever they wanted. That's not disciplined ball. You kind of like y'all going out there and freelancing and everybody's exchanging gaps and all that. That's great. But you're creating chaos, but you're not keeping your gap integrity while doing so. And I think that was a lot of the problem. Teams could time us and beat us either with the proper call play at that time, or they would counter it. They would set up a look. Especially Arizona did this to us, and they kind of blew it open after that. But they would set up a look where they would run front side for the whole first half, and they'll even run into a dust up, and it looks like they'll let you think that you're winning. Like they'll give you tackles for loss, let you think that you're beating them, so that you get over aggressive to those same looks in the second half, and then they started countering that and cutting back later on in the second half. They were killing us with that. So I think us not stunting is important. And I think that's why I'm like, okay, I don't want a guy that's just trying to get his sack numbers up. I want a guy that's playing discipline while doing what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? I need a disciplined rusher on the outside. I don't want a guy to, that's why if the Sweat was healthy, I wouldn't mind him, because he did that already with the Eagles. He wasn't, when they asked him to pin his ears back, he did it. But he wasn't just flying up the field trying to get 12 sacks. I think that's why he wasn't getting that when he was with the Eagles in the first place.
Right. So now I'm definitely excited to talk about this part. Real talk. I can't wait to talk about this nickel. I really want to get into this nickel. Now I'm gonna probably sit back and do a lot of listening to both of y'all on this, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it a lot. But when I listen to Coach Evero, and I put him side by side, Parker, their initial press conference, you can listen. You might fight me on this, Lou, and I think you got a case to fight me on this. But I hear more Coach Evero out of Parker than Vic. I'm not bullshit. It's almost
I wouldn't be mad about that. Yeah.
It's like Coach Evero sat down with his ass. Listen.
But I think that it's still going to be designed around the players that you have.
So with that said, how important is the nickel position now in this modern day NFL?
Oh, it's critical. It's critical. Because that's a guy that is, it's got to be a coverage guy, obviously, matching receivers. He's got to be able to play in the run game. The way that people are jet motion and stuff like that, he becomes a linebacker pretty quickly, and so very important position.
You've had pretty talented nickels at most of your spots in the NFL. How important is that piece to you?
Very important. Yeah, very important. That guy, he's a corner sometimes, he's a safety sometimes, he's a backer sometimes, he's a defensive end when he's blitzing. You want to have a guy who has natural instincts and ability to feel the game and play football.
I'm impressed by that one. Boss, you be listening, man.
Yeah.
You be listening.
If I cut it, that's just one. Like, I got 4 clips where they sound exactly the same, bro. And this is their initial press conference. So it was like laying out the vision of what you are. And it was like Coach Evero sound like more of the Parker Jedi than Vic. Just being all the way honest, the way they see nickel, the way they see 3-4, the way that they, attack in terms of molding their designs to the players' talent, all of that sound like Coach Evero, to be honest,
Right.
I mean, he coached under him longer than Vic, I would say. Because when he was with Denver, Vic was the head coach. Evero was the DC, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's like, that's who was going to
Yeah.
He was the DC at Denver.
That's young
that
Parker
was
right there paying his dues. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's young Parker.
And
yep.
I think Evero, I think, is probably going to be the most successful Vic disciple, because he unlocked the modern version of it. And I think the modern version is the nickelback. And now how I know that, because Vic, when he wasn't with Parker or Evero, he actually kind of struggled a bit. Like even translating with the players. But even I don't think he had like that guy at nickel with the Dolphins, even though I would have used, if I was him, I would have used what's the name, and Minka at that nickel spot. Because he can still he can
also,
still
we gonna argue that. I'm like, I thought we was gonna disagree, but now I don't think so.
No.
Because I don't want a traditional nickel either. I don't think that everybody just says, oh, Bland's a better nickel, let's put him in the slot. But we're not dealing with a cover 3 defense here in this case. And I've already heard Parker talk about the fact that guy doesn't have to be necessarily a corner traditionally. He could be a linebacker that's just super athletic, and you're playing out your base, but having him do some nickel things, right? So there's different ways to approach the position, I think. But when you look at what we picked up in the Jalen Thompson and even PJ Locke, PJ Locke he comes to plays near the line of scrimmage, but I wouldn't call him the guy that you even want to flex at nickel. I look at him as more of like a Blankenship type of guy. But your Jalen Thompson is like a CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's a guy that can play up top, he can play nickel, and he can play in the box. So I think Jalen Thompson will get some flex there, obviously. because of the history that we've seen with Christian Parker and Fangio, with guys like CJ Gardner-Johnson and Jackson from Denver, and then also Justin Simmons as well. So I think you might see a safety take over that role. And if you were to grab a guy at 12, like we stopped talking about him though, but if you were to grab a guy like Caleb Downs, I think he can be a guy that comes in and does that for you, where, you know, I look at him as a guy that's like near the line of scrimmage. He's going to be a force versus run. He's rangy. He's not a cover guy that you're going to ask to like man up with anybody. I see you shaking your head too.
No, like in agreement.
No,
that's one of them church shaking heads, like where it's so good, where you shaking your head like you preaching so good. It's one of them church shakes, like, especially when you make your face like this.
Yeah. No, I thought you was like, fuck no.
No, it was one of those.
I'm saying like that. To me, a guy like that in that room, you can then have three safeties on the field at all times. You can use Jalen in the nickel position, and then have Caleb Downs more so in the box near the line of scrimmage, or vice versa. But guys, to me, that stood out. Like 2 years ago, I didn't know who he was either. I was watching him in college, and he was the only college player with defensive backing where I broke down because of his style of play, and that was Devin Witherspoon. A guy like that is what we're looking for, a guy that can do a little bit of everything. I look at Caleb Downs as that type of guy, but I give Devin Witherspoon the edge when it comes to coverage, like man coverage. And Caleb Downs is just a rangy, explosive guy that's better in the zone. So if you guys were wanting to use Minkah Fitzpatrick in that type of role, I think Caleb Downs is a guy that can transition there. But even when you look at body types, right? When you look at Caleb Downs' measurables, and you look at PJ Locke's measurables and Jalen Thompson's measurables, 5'11", 200-poundish, 5'11", 190-ish. That's what those guys are. Twitchy, getting out of breaks, and so on. So it shows you that he is targeting. He has to be targeting Downs because of the type of guys that he went out and got and their skill sets. And I look at Downs as a mixture between the two. I think PJ Locke is more of a hitter. He's like your short, stocky guy that you can play in the box. He's more of a box safety as well as a guy that can play over the middle of the field. Downs can do those things. But then when you have a guy that can play in the nickel and give you some nickel flex in Jalen Thompson, I look at Caleb Downs as being a guy that can do what you get out of. He can give you what you get out of both of those guys. So if they're all on the field at the same time in your big nickel package or something like that, they're interchangeable as well. When you motion, or if you flip the field, you don't have to disguise or show your hand. You don't have to show your hand pre-snap, because all three of those guys can rotate interchangeably. And I point to a defensive coordinator that we don't talk about a lot that does this though, and that's Spagnolia. Spags is a guy that when I'm watching them on film, I actually got Spags pinned on my Twitter because of how much I love his film. When you watch those guys on film, I watch guys that are walking around, they're rotating pre-snap where the quarterback's like, what are you doing? And they're playing like musical chairs. I call it musical chairs because wherever they are when the ball is snapped is the responsibility that they'll play. And that shows how well they communicate and how much all three of those guys have to be in their playbook, because they're not like running if they're running cover two, they know, okay, my guy, Carter, whoever it is, has deep quarter, right, in cover two, and then I have deep middle, depending on where I'm standing. And based off the snap, they'll play that responsibility seamlessly as if that's what was called initially, and it's not. They're moving around where, because the quarterback can snap the ball anytime he wants. So if you're in the wrong position when he snaps, you have to play that responsibility. You're not going to dart. If you're single high, you're not going to run to the deep middle, and then those other guys are going to run to the two thirds or quarters of the field. They're not going to do that. So they have to play the responsibility based off of where they're standing when the ball is snapped. And to me, that's extremely difficult. And it shows trust from Spags, but it also shows a high IQ out of those guys, and that they're teaching at a level that's way beyond whatever we were doing here for the last couple of years, because we were just covering grass. And these guys are like making it look like, organized chaos out there. And I like that. So I want to see more of that here. And I think if you go out and get a guy like Downs or even Thieneman, I like Thieneman too, but I think he's more of a guy that you want to leave him. His speed though, I don't know. He might be able to do a little bit of things.
Finish it though. Because you was finna say something that caught my attention.
But he was the guy that I want to keep near the line of scrimmage or in nickel. I'll keep him in the slot or near the line of scrimmage because I look at him as a guy that is okay in run support, but he's not a finisher, in my opinion. Like that down. I like his athleticism though, but he doesn't finish as well. So if you said, I don't want to say this because he's a young player, and you know what I mean, but he's like your poor man's Caleb Downs, in my opinion. But I like both those guys. But if I had to choose, I'm taking, I say poor man's because his athleticism allows you to use him wherever you want him. But you would have to school him in whatever position you put him. If you put him single high in space, I think he's not as effective. Near the line of scrimmage, he's a lot better, but he doesn't finish as well either. And when it comes to run support, but Caleb Downs had a supporting cast though that made it a lot easier for him to kind of assess what's going on too, because you have a bunch of dogs around you at the same time. So that we won't figure out until he gets here. But Thieneman is like a big fish, small pond, so to speak. And I think Downs is big fish in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. Like he got everybody on his team.
At 12, Akoye?
No. 20, I
clap it up, man. I'm finna say, I ain't doing no more.
But here's the thing. But Bot taught me this, right? I wouldn't take him at 12. No, I'd be pissed off if he did that. I really would. But Botch taught me this, right? Because I remember I was mad about the Connor Williams signing, but he said, well, if you just flip the picks. So if we took somebody at 20, let's say somebody we really do like McCoy or something like that, right? Slip to 20 and he's there and he's healthy, right? He runs well in this pro day and he's there. If you look at 20 and 12 and say, all right, well, if you got McCoy at 12 and Thieneman at 20, would you be mad? Right. I would say no. So it depends on who you get at 20. I wouldn't be as mad about Thieneman because it's about who you get in the first round altogether collectively. For me, it's not about where you get them. It's about who you get. So not necessarily
the combination of the best team.
Not necessarily. But that's how I feel about Thieneman. But I think that I think he's a good player though. I just think he needs to finish better. I mean,
well, I want to throw this at both of y'all and then let y'all take off with it. I'm throwing this at both of y'all. The way that I heard Parker and Coach Evero talk about nickel. I think our nickel is bland, dog. If he healthy, the way
I ain't mad at that either.
Yeah, his play style fit what they described. Now, under somebody else's defense, no, right? Under this defense, somebody that got to sometimes go up there and make a forceful tackle that sometimes you got to
smack.
Yeah, he'll smack the shit out of you, you know what I mean? And that where he's going to be your most versatile guy, to me, that's him. I've been thinking about that. I want to get y'all thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
you go first, I was going for a minute.
I don't think we have a full-time nickel on the roster that I can trust. I wanted to see it. I need to see the post injury. Right now, I think nickel is a group project right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's gonna be a combination of guys rotating in and out. Like
I gotta fight you a little bit, Lou. I gotta fight you a little bit.
I'm ready to do it, Lou.
That's what I'm saying. He can do it. Hell yeah.
Remember, I am taking Christian Parker's word for word because I was getting ready to fight you on Minka because I don't think Minka is a full-time nickel either. I think he can do it because he can cover his ass off. But in terms of like run support,
Gardner, they're not full-time nickels. You obviously got a nickel, but I'm saying in your base he has nickel flex. You know what I'm saying? But you're not full-time.
I'm just trying to look for that guy like Cooper DeJean.
Man, come in like we both looked at Cooper DeJean, dog.
We looked at him. Yeah, the coverage was all right, but that run support was different.
Like Cooper DeJean is no Bland, bro. Like Bland, when healthy, is better than Cooper, dog.
I would agree. I was about to say. I thought you were saying he's no Bland. Like I thought you were saying Cooper's head above water above Bland when you said that. I think Bland is Bland was a nickel when he started. Like he was a nickel initially, and that's when we took notice to him. So he was playing well, but I look at Bland because of his pay. This is unless they can sell this to Jerry, like Bland is like, your Dom Capers, Charles Woodson type of guy. Unless you could sell that to him where it's like, look, we need him near the ball so he could be a playmaker, like your Charles Woodson from that Dom Capers era, Fangio's is from that tree. Right, if you could sell that to him, maybe. But the paycheck that Bland is getting, he's getting paid as an outside corner, like a top corner. So if he's getting paid as a top corner, Jerry gonna want him to play outside, unless you say in your base coverage he's outside and you're using Thompson if you need him for some nickel flex, right, in your base. But when you go to your nickel, you push Bland inside. Then it's different. But I don't think Jerry will want Bland playing nickel primarily because of what he's paying him. He gonna want him to be that number one corner, and he wants him to be. I don't think Bland is, though, and I think that's where the disconnect is, and why everybody kind of is down on Bland, because Jerry's paying him like he wants him to be the guy, and that's not Bland's role. Bland should be closer to the ball because he blitzes well. He comes down and hits very well, and he covers. He's probably the on the team so far that I know of. He covers the over routes better than anybody else on this team. That's where he got a lot of his interceptions. He made his name in that 3-4 where you were throwing those crossing routes. He covers those better than anybody else on the team right now. So I like Bland a lot. I just don't know if I can trust Bland because he's been doubly injured in the same way 2 seasons in a row. So that's my issue with him. Same issue I got with Demo. I don't want to say their name because I'm like y'all both been injured the last 2 years.
Right, but I mean, do you trust him like everything? Like even as this modern nickel? Like I think Bland is like the last era nickel I can fit. You know what I'm saying? Inside corner coming in. Like, do I trust him in safety roles? Do I trust him? Like how do I know Bland out there? Because this is the whole reason why we're doing this type of decent defense, having versatility. How people are playing offense now in the NFL is how they playing offense in the NBA. They hunting the mismatch.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that Bland would not get hunted?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like even when he's lined up all out of position, that's why I worry with him. You know what I'm saying?
Other than that Seattle game where they had to take him off of DK, and he had like maybe 2 bad reps against Arizona as well when he was covering Harrison Jr. Right, but over the last 2 years, who was targeting and cooking Bland like distinctly? Last year it was more communication. I saw him missing assignments because like everybody else on the field, people were kind of late to understand what was going on. I think he was playing slow because of that. But I didn't see teams just saying like for this entire game, like we saw Bridges get cooked against Denver. Like they targeting you. Get what I'm saying? I didn't see that happen to Bland last year. I saw it happen in games, like in moments in games, but not entire games. Where
he said the Cardinals.
He's the mouse in the house. The Cardinals game?
Yeah, he said
the Cardinals game was he had 2 plays. Yeah. That's it. That's the only game that I looked at Bland and he was looking for help on that inside play where he gave up 50 yards. He played out if he got outside leverage pre-snap and he's lined up outside, that means you think that there's help inside. Otherwise, you would have played inside leverage and try to cone him to the outside of the field. He playing stacked or to the outside from the start of that play, and then he got hit with a post, but he's standing outside already. It wasn't like he got moved outside, you know what I mean, or got, he broke his leverage somehow.
I feel like the Lions they attacked our corners. They didn't attack him with a receiver. They attacked us with the what's the back name? The running back.
With Jameer Gibbs.
Jameer Gibbs.
Oh, that's right. I remember that too.
They were running like drags and crossing.
I got pissed.
Yeah,
I know. I got pissed. I got pissed.
I thought Bland honestly was just compromised injury wise last year, bro. Just keeping it real. I think he was compromised injury wise, and I think with the Parker nickel, I think it fit him more than the traditional nickel. Because most of us, when we talk about nickel, we thinking about kind of like the guy that's responsible for covering the third receiver. That ain't how Parker talking. Parker ain't talking that shit.
He's not.
Right.
He talking about
his zone. He gonna be in zone too, though. Yeah.
And so I feel like that fit Bland, like even the money part, Akoye, the money part, because the way Parker describing it, he called it your best guy. You know what I'm saying? So the guy,
right.
Especially when I put them, like me and you did the film together, I was expecting much better than what I saw in Cooper, bro. And I'm just being honest, I feel like if Deron Bland could become 90% of what he was, we got our nickel. We do, in my opinion. Like the guy that's gonna do.
Do you trust that next year though? You know what I'm saying? This is why I
don't trust it, bro. I don't trust it. But I'm saying if he can be 90%, bro.
I mean, I don't even trust him to get 90%. Like I really feel like, yeah.
I think if Bland is healthy, Bland can be I mean, I want him to choose a position though. So if you're not going to make him a full-time nickel, which I don't think you're going to because of his paycheck, then I think you move on from that and you let him get as good as he can get outside.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I said, somebody's gonna have to sell it to Jerry where this is just where he plays and that's his position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not against Bland playing the nickel, but I don't want another tweener in regards to the secondary. I want him to be where he is. I don't think you're ever going to put Cooper DeJean on the outside. He is a nickel guy, and that's where he's going to stay. I think the same thing for Bland. Like if Bland's going to play nickel, put him there and forget it and set it.
Yep.
And then that's who plays nickel. You know what I'm saying? I don't think him being an outside corner half the time and a nickel the other half. I think that takes away from not only his effectiveness, because I think moving him further away from the ball, in my opinion, takes away from his instincts. I think Bland is a guy that he has great instincts for the ball, great ball hawk. He reads coverages very well. He understands route combinations and in the route tree, but how teams want to attack you. But he also blitzes very well. He also comes down and run support very well. You can't throw tunnel screens near him because he'll come back down there and smack you.
That's right.
A lot of the things that you like about DeJean, I like. Bland does those things. It's just will they just put him there and leave him there for the 92 mil? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's why I say that it's not about can he do it. I don't think there's a question as to can he do it. We fell in love with him at nickel. It wasn't like he wasn't playing outside there.
That's
you know what I'm saying? We
facts.
fell in love with Bland at nickel. We haven't even liked Bland since he's been outside because he was hurt since he's been out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we fell in love with Bland nickel. Nobody knew Bland as an outside corner when he first got here. He was a nickel guy. So I think putting him back there, to me, is best. The reason he got pushed from that initially was because we had Jordan Lewis, who was, I think at the time, a better traditional nigga, old school, like you said, nickel of old, a guy that can get down there, small, twitchy guy that can cover very well, Velcro, that's what they called him. I think that's why Bland was moved out that position, because it's saying that you don't want Jordan Lewis outside. They didn't want him outside because of his length. So we're going to push Bland outside, even though he might play nickel better or just as good as Lewis. Lewis can't play outside as good as Bland. So we're going to put Bland outside and leave Lewis in the nickel. But now that Lewis is gone, Bland I thought he should have been pushed back to his original position once Lewis was off the team last year, in my opinion. We just didn't do that. And then he got hurt too. So it's a little different. But I like Bland. If you guys want him near the ball, I like Bland near the ball. I think he's a guy that can play, like I said, a lot like we see Devin Weatherspoon, a lot like Dom Capers used Charles Woodson back in the day, where Charles Woodson was getting a little old in the tooth or long in the tooth and wasn't as twitchy on the outside anymore. But they just said, all right, we're going to let you make plays near the ball. And now you're like a extra linebacker or like a safety that's in the box. Like they were using Charles Woodson all over the place, and he became like a crazy playmaker. That year they went to the Super Bowl, he broke his arm or something like that. But I like Bland in that type of role.
No, I absolutely love him, man. And I'm going to say this openly. It took me a while. You're going to appreciate this too, Lou. For a while, I thought Durante Jones was Shotty's favorite. After really listening to Parker for a while, I could see where Parker took that job from Durante. Yeah. I could see it. Especially when he said they believed in the plan that they had for Bland. Remember they said that was one of the selling parts of Parker? Is when I listened to the big
so Jerry said that.
Jerry and
Jerry said they believe in the plan they had.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I ain't hear it. So go ahead and give me the quote. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was the plan that they have.
It was Steven.
For Bland and Revel. Both of those guys.
Yeah, Bland and Revel. Yeah, Steven.
Yeah, Steven said
he didn't mention the safeties.
He didn't mention the safeties. They talked about the plan with Bland and Revel. So at first, I'm gonna keep it real with her all the time. At first, I was like, "That's some bullshit, bro. Just keeping it real." I was like, "Man, that's
wrong. You are fake news."
I was like, "Shut the fuck up," because see, I loved obviously Flores' attack style, and I know Shotty did. He loved it, like he praised it. But now I can see now that I really listen to Parker, especially listen to Parker talk about the front. I was like, okay, I could see where they saw the alignment, because they kept saying that too. They kept saying it was the alignment. We kept hearing it was the alignment. I really do now believe that he took that job from Durante. I swear now.
Yeah.
Now you got to come.
So I mean,
most likely.
You got to come
Yeah,
through.
you got to
when,
coach.
when you
You
look
got to
at
coach him up.
when you look at Bland, one other thing about Bland that nobody talks about under Eberflus, other than the fact that everybody sucked under Eberflus.
Yeah.
You have one of the best, in my opinion, during his time prior to under Quinn and even under Zimmer. He's one of the better press cover corners in the league. We had him playing 15 yards off the ball routinely.
Yes.
That I mean,
Yes.
it's a time when you sit on routes like that. Like if you know like you're blitzing and you're forcing them to throw one side and you want to drive on the ball and keep it in front of you. I understand situationally where you would do something like that, but I remember even Quinn did it to him one time. I heard somebody say, I saw somebody say that AJ Brown cooked him in one game. I remember Quinn had him playing, 15 yards off the ball, but it was a strategy to it because they were trying to keep everything in front of him, and then everybody started copying that after we played the Eagles that year. I think we lost that year to them, but everybody started copying that blueprint. And the Eagles went on a slide after that. AJ just disappeared, and they started having all these problems. But he was killing all the way up until he played us, and we were trying to keep him in front of us by playing off and giving them everything underneath, but we wouldn't let them, get behind us. So situationally, I could see why you would do that. And Bland is good at coming down, driving, and tackling. So I get why you would do it situationally, but he's a press cover corner. You got to get him in the face of whoever he's covering. Unless it's trips to his side, I think he should be pressed.
Facts. So
like just last question, just like Akoye already answered. If Bland isn't, who is the nickel in this draft? Like who are your prospects?
See, that's go.
Oh, I got one more for you then, because I know we said Caleb Downs, right?
Yeah.
I
gotta fight you on Theme. I'm gonna fight you on Theme. I'll fight you on Theme.
You can fight me on that because I'm not gonna die on that hill anyway. You can fight me. I'll let you win that.
Oh, never mind.
Never mind. I ain't gonna fight you for Theme, man. I wouldn't do it. But I will say one I will fight you for is D'Angelo. What's his name? DeAndre Pons, that kid from Indiana.
Yeah, Pons.
I like Pons as a nickel guy, man. I like him, period. But I think that we might be higher on him than other teams because I don't think Parker care about height as much as most defensive defensive coordinators do at this stage. Parker, can you start and stop on a dime, and can you cover? Can you stay in a guy's hip pocket? That's what he cares about. So I think Pons might be higher on our draft board than on amongst other teams. I think he's a guy that he reminds me of Antoine Winfield back in the day. 5'9", you ain't big, but he played bigger than he is. Like you're not jumping over him even though he's short. You ain't running at him even though he's small. He played big even though he's 5'9", 180, 190. Antoine Winfield was like that. He wasn't a big guy, but he'd smack you. And I like Pons because of that. Like he twitchier than Winfield though, but I like.
So you seeing Pons as the nickel?
Pons is another nickel that I like in the draft. If you say who my two nickels that the Cowboys should consider, I like Pons because he's a straight baller, playmaker. I don't care about his measurables. I look at what he does, his productivity, and I like Caleb Downs. Those are my two guys that I would say, could be my nickels. And if you want to do it with a linebacker, go get Styles and let him do every goddamn thing. You know what I mean? So those are three levels of the defense that you can address nickel with. If you want to address it with a linebacker, do it with Styles. If you want to address it with a safety, do it with Downs. You want to go traditional, do it with Pons.
I'm glad you said it because a lot of people fight me on that when I say that Styles is a nickel at the next level. People will fight me like, "Oh, you're a Mike. He a Mike." I'm like, no, I don't. I view him as that. He still got that safety background in him, and it's loud on film. It's loud on film, and I don't trust him as an inside navigating through the trash. I really trust him as a nickel. I really do.
I do if he learns to use his hands. Like if BT can help him use his hands, I think he could be okay in there. He don't shed that well yet. But go ahead. Your guys are who?
So a guy that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, y'all go ahead because I don't even got my list together like I want yet. I have it together.
Oh man. A guy that
if I would have had at least 2 days worth of time, I would have, man, because I've been through the corners in the. Yeah, I ran out of time. When I figured out we was finna talk draft, I would have researched all my 3-star guys again just to make sure. I don't want to put no names out there without taking another look. It's been so long since I looked at safety and corner.
Hold up. One more, man.
Okay.
What y'all feel? I'm just asking this to all y'all. Y'all probably agree with me. What y'all feel about Kyle Lewis? becoming a safety,
Man, you took my guy.
safety, and being
Damn, boy. Damn, you took my guy.
well, that means great minds think alike. That bull right
I was
there is
talking
different. Like
I was talking to Tuck.
that's one I forgot to mention. My bad, but go ahead. You got it.
3 weeks ago, I called Boss on this. I said, Boss, I need you to look at Kyle Lewis, this linebacker, because they listen to him at linebacker, but he's not a traditional linebacker. All he's doing all year is covering. That's all he's doing the entire film, just covering. And I talked to Tuck about it. And Tuck, he go in detail on these these scout breakdowns. And he told me that they literally created a whole new position for him at Pitt, that star position, that advanced nickel position. And when he told me that, I was like, yep, my thoughts of what I was seeing on film, that matches. Kyle Lewis, and they're beginning to starting to list him as safety from linebacker. I think he's a prime candidate, right? Like a prime candidate for the Cowboys. Because he is the modern day nickel. Like somebody you can come in there,
if you
big safety.
He top 2. He top 2 in the draft if you got him at safety. He above everybody other than Caleb Downs, I think. Well, I think he's even better than Caleb Downs as far as coverage is concerned. Can't nobody cover like the bull in the draft right now. I haven't seen nobody do it. Do it at his size. He's 6'1", 220 too. So you got a point with that. Go ahead, Lou. I keep cutting you off. My bad, Lou.
He extremely dope, bro. Like, and he smoked that Senior Bowl. That might be your nickel too, bro. To your point, Akoye. And see, that's why I needed to just stop us. Because see, like Lou, you the one that got me looking at linebackers for nickel. I wasn't thinking about no linebacker for nickel.
I was saying that. I tweeted it out, and people was like, "Lou, who is it?" There's a couple of linebackers. This linebacker class is special because it's full of guys who can play like all this. There's traditional. You got your inside, your big inside linebackers. You got your outside linebacker who can come out the edge, and then you got some guys who can transition to that nickel class. This is a very special class, and him. Kyle Lewis, man, like when I saw him, like his entire film is just him. He's not even in the screen when they go into the tight cut. You know what I'm saying? Like he's over there. Where his trips out there, he out there. You know what I'm saying? They going quads, he out there.
But the other thing they trust him out there. You can't run nothing out there either. You're not gonna run that out. You're not gonna run nothing outside. You ain't gonna run no stretch plays that side. You ain't gonna run no tunnel screens that side because he's smothering the line of scrimmage too. So I like Lewis, and I like how for him to be that twitchy, to be able to get in and out of his breaks and open his hips like that at 6 foot 220. That like 6 foot 220 is Ray Lewis's. I mean, not Ray Lewis. Roy Williams' size. Yeah. He was 6 foot 230, 6 foot 225. So for him to be able to move like that at 6'1", 220 is crazy to me. Like that to me is a guy that is the most well-rounded, I guess, at that position. But the rest of those guys I still like at nickel as well. But I think we both agree on that one. I would take him. If he was, well, where do you take him is the question. If you look at him as a linebacker, you take him in the third, right? But if you look at him as a safety, where does he go then?
Second, maybe.
Second.
But he's flying right now. Like I'm seeing, like he's flying up people's boards ever since he been reclassified. Like he's flying up there. I'm seeing probably as high as low first. You know,
I would agree.
Late first.
If you saw him at 20, would you be mad?
No,
I wouldn't be mad.
Okay. Not at all.
Agreed.
Not at all. Now,
agreed.
Now, Corey, what you doing Wednesday? You
whatever y'all want to do. Y'all want to go live again Wednesday?
Linebacker.
I told you every evening I'm at it, man. That's what I'm doing from now on.
All right, so we gonna do official DC Universe. So we gonna flip that back on. We gonna talk linebacker. It's gonna be official draft show.
Yeah, linebacker special.
We want to get you back for linebacker, and I want to just.
So you want to look at all college linebackers like Rodriguez, those guys?
Yeah, we gonna talk about all of them. Yeah, and we can even do some mock drafting. You know. So we'll talk through the linebackers because the trend that I'm seeing on the linebackers, you ain't gonna really be able to get the cream unless you move down. Because most of your best linebackers,
you talking about Arvell Reese and Styles, that's cream.
No, that's too far.
I don't view them as traditional. I don't view both of them as traditional linebackers, honestly. Like I think both of them they getting ready to transition.
But
out.
cream in terms of draft position, that's too far up. I'm talking about that tier under them, Akoye.
Okay, but they all. I think they all like second round, third round guys. I don't think Joseph Rodriguez is a first round pick. I don't think you pick him in the first round.
No,
I don't think you pick him in the first round.
That's why I say you got to get them moving down. You feel me? Because they mostly cluster together. They mostly, like, in terms of grades, they clustered real close together. Like, let me just show you.
Like him, Hill, Trotter.
Yeah, they right there together, bro.
Like
Trotter's inconsistent.
You can,
like, he's still inconsistent, but I like him, but he inconsistent. But I think he can do a little bit of everything though. But he inconsistent. Not Hill, not Trotter. I like Trotter. Hill is inconsistent. Did I say Trotter the first time?
Yeah.
All right, so check this out.
I like Hill. Trotter a beast.
So you see how
somebody told me to watch Gold Day too. I haven't looked at him.
You
yet.
see how they graded together after the first two you talked about, like Sony Styles. Then right after that, Anthony Hill, Jake Goldday, Josiah Trotter, C.J. Allen. See, they all, you know.
Where's Rodriguez?
Rodriguez is gonna be. You got to go down some more.
Did they already move Reese?
Rodriguez, they got, like you said, around the third round grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Lawrence is Lawrence is a DN. Malachi Lawrence.
Yeah, he big as hell too.
Yeah, he a DN.
Yeah. So that's why I say we go talk about linebacker. Linebacker's been a major talking point. I can't wait to really get down to this discussion on Anthony Hill. I can't wait till we talk about that. I'm gonna pause it for now. I'm gonna pause that because I'm just curious.
He was a very intriguing prospect. I'm not gonna lie. He was.
Yeah, I need to go look at a couple of more games from him before I stamp him. I'm real close to putting my whole stamp.
I only have 2 games from him. I need to watch at least 4 or 5.
Yeah, I need to get my games up before I stamp him. I'm close though. If I see a few more things, I'm gonna stamp him. I don't
like college backers as much because when they have that Sonny Styles effect where when you have a team around you that's soaking up blocks, like even Georgia linebackers, you got a team around you that's soaking up blocks so crazy. I don't see enough block shedding for me to say this guy can do it at the NFL level because you're not going to run free to the ball every play. Like the guy Surrey, I think he's from it's Arkansas. Like he's a guy like 220, 6'2", 220. But every clip I watch, he's running straight to the ball, unimpeded. Nobody's touching him. So of course you can play all world when ain't nobody blocking you. Anthony Hill Jr. the same way. Like he's athletic as hell. He could do a little bit of everything, but he running full speed, no breaks, no cuts to the ball. Like I want to see you. Can you like guys like Trotter, Rodriguez, CJ before that pro day, but CJ on film. You can't block that dude. Like he run downhill, he's running right past you, and it's like you're not even there. It's like he teleport right behind you. Yeah. Same thing with Trotter and Rodriguez. That's why I like those 3 linebackers the most when I was watching the film because those are the guys that I'm seeing do NFL things. Meaning, when you actually do get reach block, what do you do then? Are you tussling with the guy, or is it like he's not even there? And it's like he's not even there when you're looking at those guys. Whereas, Sonny Styles, a lot of his highlights is because you got guys like Caleb Downs on the team. You got Arvell Reese on the team. You got a team where he's running to grass a lot like, I know I'm not going to even say that comparison because y'all going to be pissed off when I say it. But he's running because everybody going to be like, he compared him to. Nah, I ain't going to do it. But he's running the grass. He's not reading. He's running the grass and running the gaps, which is cool. But I don't know if that translates well when you have to be that guy on the defense. I don't know if he's that guy or is he one of the guys. I don't know. Fair. I look at Arvell Reese as a stud, but even him, you don't know what you want to do with him. And I don't think he's a traditional. To me, he's not a traditional edge rusher. I think he should still be a linebacker that you use on the edge. But I think if you put him on edge full time, you're negating his skill set too. So, yeah, he's a Micah. Very, very much. He's a Micah. You let him play off ball first and second down, and then let him eat. Let him earn his food. You know what I mean? Stop the run from the middle of the field, and then go eat.
So, I'm gonna keep my promise because I know we can go multiple topics. Because I want to ask y'all about another one, but that'll take us another 30 minutes. I promise you. Because I want to talk.
There's somebody later on down on that list that it's a rich linebacker draft. I will say that.
Yeah,
it's some guys. If you get some good coaching in there, like that guy from Bama,
man.
man.
Like Yes.
Who the kid from Bama? I don't know him.
Deontay Lawson. The only problem with him, like, you got to think for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of physical ability,
yes.
In terms of physical, you got to think for him.
I don't like no dumb linebacker, man. You got to be smart.
I know,
man.
but he ball and see ball. When he hit ball and see ball, like he's there, and he jumps off the screen athletically. He's just not a good diagnosis.
I put it like this: in another class, he would have been a second rounder.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Who that guy that's 49ers drafted from Alabama who was rocking everybody? He got put out the league for the domestic.
Reuben Foster.
Him. He's one of those guys that remind me of that, like see ball, hit ball, crazy, athletic, and good, but not between the ears. You don't think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I don't like Rolando McClain. Rolando McClain is one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy good, but can't stay here because he don't think. You don't think. Rashawn Evans is one of those guys. Crazy good. It's out the league. He don't think. It's something about Alabama backers. You know,
it's them Bama backers. That's how Nick like him. I ain't because he gonna think for him. He
dumb
gonna
and fast.
You know what I'm saying? Blow up that damn A gap. You know what I'm saying? Like blow it up. And, I think the only good one. The Demario.
I ain't even peeped that I was naming all Bama backers until you said at the end of the day they are all Bama backers. That's crazy.
So
I see a trend here.
So check this out, y'all. I'm gonna get my final words and get out in the streets. First of all, I appreciate you coming through so fast again, Akoye. Always good to do work with you, big bruh. You know,
100.
Always good to do work with you. And I appreciate the start of this conversation. Because I'm gonna dig more into that nickel. I'm glad we kind of, touched it a little bit. The Ghostwriter, you made me feel a little bit better. I still do have some concerns about our overall pass rush, but I will say this, bro. I pray with all my heart that everybody that has a good feeling about our pass rush, I pray y'all right, bro. I swear to God. Because if y'all are, boy, our defense finna be nasty. Our defense finna be nasty. We go be, I think, right around what you said. We gonna be around 20-15. Now, if we get a Crosby, we go shoot up. We go shoot up to like top 10, top 5. I think exactly what you said. I mean, exactly what you said.
We're a contender.
We'll be straight up contenders, bro. Like straight up.
Like a danger.
So I appreciate doing the content with you and Lou. And I can't wait till we go do it on the DC Universe. We go come back and talk linebacker. And just always happy to have my big bro in the space, man. Okay, OG Akoye, man. Appreciate all the work you do.
Appreciate it, man.
You killing the streets, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Bringing a good gospel. Even when we disagree.
100%.
We disagreed 100%. A little bit today, but we was like I always said this about Akoye.
In the ballpark,
like, we know how to spar. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know how to go at each other to the point to where, we get to our points. Even if we don't agree, we move on from it, man. Right. And I just love doing content with you and Lou, like for real talk. And the main thing I love on my final word is the passion that both of y'all have. The passion that y'all 100%. Have to say what y'all need to say, despite what anybody else say. That's the number one thing I love about doing content with both of y'all. I know y'all not afraid to speak what's on your mind and to say like really how you feel based on your research. I'ma always rock with you two because of that. That's my final word.
My final word is
I was waiting on you. You was looking at me, so like, you go ahead.
Yeah, it's a delay. My final word is I'm excited. Just listening around, like hearing people, like how they visualize. Even people that's not even Cowboy fans, we really close, man. And that's why I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm willing to fight everybody about it. That's why I'm willing to, bring some radical ass ideas about it. Like that y'all boycott me on. I don't care. You feel me? Because I really feel like we are really close from being like a juggernaut, not just a contender. We can be a juggernaut.
Yeah.
If we make the correct moves. I'm telling you right now. If we fix linebacker and edge, telling you like
we dope as fuck.
We have officially
Guaranteed.
made Christian Parker's job 100 times easier. 100 times easier. And that's all I'm trying to do. I want him to have a safe takeoff. You know what I'm saying, in this NFL thing. That's all I'm trying to give him.
Yep.
I know he's a great teacher and he taught us, but look, man, it's different when you seeing your man's call and now you the man. You know what I'm saying? They asking you, the headset come on for you to call this damn defense. You feel me? They like Kyle Shanahan is game planning for you. Sean McVay is game planning for you. Yeah, it's good calling them geniuses from afar, but now you in the fight. You in the thick of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to. He literally said it. I need Cowboy Nation to listen to him. He said, "Great players make great coaches." Right. He is not lying when he says that.
Nope.
Ask Nick Saban. I'm tired of people saying, "Let's give him." Yeah, great players. They can coach up anybody. No, he ain't. Nick Saban got 5 stars. Was paying for everybody. Grandmama, lights turning on. Got them all Hellcats. Like landlord to tell you, people like he a Bama fan. Man, oh man, I know some people that went to Bama, man. I had my own partner got recruited by Bama, man. That's why Nick left, because it became legal.
Because he couldn't cheat no more.
Because he couldn't cheat no damn more. That boy was handing them out. He got the best in the building.
Everybody had
coached him up. Everybody had Hellcat. Grandmama lights was on. They had groceries and if you messed up, you turn the lights off. That's how you keep you hungry. You feel me? So, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. But that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give this coaching staff the best that they can have, so we can go out there and be like, I don't want to have no regrets when we push all the chips into the table. That's all I want to do.
Number one, I appreciate y'all having me back, man. I'm gracious for being here. I appreciate all that. And I'm in y'all house this time, so I definitely appreciate that. And 2, like I said, I realize we have battles, but we all want the same thing. That's what really brings it back home for me. Is like there's no disagreement in what we want. We all want a Super Bowl. How we get there, philosophy is always going to be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to go left, I want to go right. That's different.
Right.
But you know your shit, and so does Lou. That's one thing I respect. And you guys don't come out and be on a tip where, I don't think you're just shooting from the hip, not understanding what's going on. I always respect that because I get smarter because of you guys, because of that. And one thing I will say, you guys affected me. The reason I reached out to y'all, said let's do another show, right? Because I'm like, y'all start talking about the Ghostwriter, and I didn't know what the hell that meant. I was like, oh, what is that? And then you said it so many times. I just and then I went on to Crown Global. I went on the show with Bach, and they brought it up again. So then I said, I got to look into this dude a little deeper because I knew who he was. I just didn't give him the credit that he was due. Last night, I went to sleep early yesterday, woke up in the middle of the night, probably like 11 o'clock. I was up from like 11:30 to 4 a.m. researching Brandon T. Jordan, bro. That's how crazy I was about it. Because once I started watching, I couldn't stop, man.
Yeah,
I saw film of these highlights. You ain't doing them no justice with these, right? I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
no,
this ain't it. This ain't it. I know what you mean.
Because watching some of the drills, like I teach hand fighting when it comes to like just catching and shooting, right? Or speed bag drill.
Yeah,
I would teach the things that he's teaching translate even to boxing from his hand fighting ability. Like if you just watch some of the things he does, like this stuff is all like more so strength, leverage, and angles and hand placement, right? But he has a drill where he and a guy are doing a hand fighting drill. Everybody really, they all do it a little differently based off they physicality or their frame. But he doing a drill, one guy, and it looked like remember Steve, like this right here, that right there, but a little bit more intense. You know what I mean? Steve, it looked like a Steven Seagal movie, I said. Like, back in the day when Steven Seagal used to be whooping ass with his hands, you know what I mean, stabbing people up, man. The things that he teaches, you can see that they translate very well. Yeah, it
translate.
Yep. I was watching him with on the sledge with a young Kenny Clark, or younger Kenny Clark. And you can see Kenny Clark's moves, like where he'll yoke you up and just bull rush you, and then turn to the side. He just turn himself to the side, and automatically he get that angle. I was watching him do that all last season, and I just thought it was just a good move by Kenny Clark. But I watched him teach it on the sled. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, This is where that comes from. And then even when you watch the ghost punch that Von Miller does, I don't know if it came from Von Miller or if it came from him, but I do know everybody that came behind Von Miller that works under Brandon T does it, especially if they finesse rushers. So I'm like, it has to be something to that. Yeah, but Benito, and that's the perfect move for a guy that is finesse. Like when you look at a guy like Ezeraku who has the moves, Ezeraku doesn't know when to deploy those moves. You know what I'm saying? But he has them. He'll be swimming with air. There's nothing there. He's not setting up the punch. He doesn't set up the tackle to draw his hands out prior to making his move. And he started doing it better later in the season, but he wasn't doing that. He just was swimming, thinking that the swim move would work because you're swimming. It's like you got to set those things up with your feet, set it up with your angle, so on, and then you can set up your counters off of that. I think that Brandon T will give a guy like Ezeraku, if healthy, a counter tree based off his initial move. He likes to spin as well, but he'll teach him how to do it properly. I love everything about the guy, his story, all that. He's not a guy, and he's one of us. And the reason I say he's one of us, he's a guy that did not make it to the NFL traditionally. He wasn't a guy that was he wasn't on a coach's track. He wasn't a Pro Bowler or a Hall of Famer that decided he wanted to coach and he was going to get the red carpet. He was a guy trying to figure it out.
Can I pause just for 1 second? Just for 1 second.
Ahead.
Just 1 second.
You're
bro,
right.
I swear to God, I said the same thing, bro. I swear to
He
God,
one of us, man.
I said he one of us, bro. Self-made. Go ahead, though.
Yep.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead. You killing it, bro.
I swear, I just like I said, I took a deep dive last night. I listened to his story and it resonated because that's exactly how I got into new media. It was you just see something that you're passionate about and you're going to do it until you get good at it. Yeah. Boxing, the same thing. Everybody in the Philadelphia circle who sees me throw fights, see me promote fights with Gillian Wallow, or see me box, or see me manage fighters, or train fighters in the corner. One thing they got in common, they all came through, a coaching tree. So they know, you learned under this school or you learned under that school. The reason my training is radical is because I didn't learn under none of them. And when I came in on my own dime. I came in on my own time doing what I wanted, right? So people all ask, like, where the fuck he come from? Or who is this guy? Like, how he throwing this fight at the Met? Or why is he in the corner? Well, you here too? What you doing? You know what I mean? And he one of them. He one of those guys like, I learned, I got my credibility from just doing the work myself. And then for years, even doing something, you got to be, in order to get good at something, you guys know this from even content. In order to get good at something, you got to be willing to be bad at it long enough to get good. I'm one of those guys. I don't, the same way I argue with fans 3,000 versus 1, I'll be bad at something and I ain't got an embarrassed bone in my body. I don't give a damn. But I'm going to get good because I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to get my 10,000 hours. That's the way I am. And I've done that. And he's a guy that I see doing that just like us. So that's why I say, just like we said last time we was on, it's hard to get up here and do color commentary for hours off the top of the head without, ain't no notes right here. I ain't got no notes in front of me.
Ain't no notes.
Just talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's hard as hell. You're gonna miss some of the marks, but that's hard to do, period. Yeah. So to see a guy like that get in the game and edge his way and make his name to a point where he's now on the trajectory he wants to be on. He wants to be a coach in the league. He's not trying to be a position specialist, but he's using his gifts to leverage himself in that space. And I'm rooting for him, man. I bang with him. I bang with him as a person more so than just the guru.
And let me say this. I said that was my final word. I lied. I will also say this. Is he one of us? It's good to see that both sides are starting to get the accolades. This is what I mean. Right. So, to see you featured on Crown Global Media, you and Foots.
That was fun, man. I appreciate that. That warmed my heart. I went up there. I ain't gonna lie.
You feel me? And I said that because just like there's a doors opening for the self-made people, the YouTubers, it's the same thing happened to him. There's a perfect parallel, actually. Perfect parallel. At the time that doors are opening up for people like you, Vaj, Foots, and stuff to expand your voice, expand your reach, expand your influence, right? It's the same thing, bro. It's the exact same thing. So, and that's why I had to pause you, bro, and say, bro, I said the same thing. I said he one of us. He one of us.
He definitely
and
is.
just like what's happening to him, it's gonna continue to happen. That's why I'm gonna continue to always push for Akoye, push for Akoye. Yes, Scott too. I left out Scott. Yes, Scott too.
Man, I'm gonna say one more thing to you, bro. And I mean, I should have probably said it offline, but we here, so we gonna do it. I say it all the time, but for real, man. To not only people who watch me, the people who watching Lou and Boss, anybody who like anything I do, man. From a film standpoint, I won't lie, I never will. I quit a couple times. Because one, I see guys like that either I'll be, schooling somebody or mentoring somebody behind the scenes, and they blow by me, right? And I'm like, well, I got full time over here. I can't dedicate enough time to do what I want to do here. So it's like, and I said this year, the reason y'all see me like every day now, because I finally got a little bit more time because business is stabilizing, right? So I'm like, if I don't go hard now, I'm trying to buy a house, right? So I need to, diversify what I'm doing. And I said, if I don't go hard now, I'm quitting. I quit because I need to focus on something that is going to do it for me. I got no more time for hobbies. I got to do it. Right. You know what I mean? So that's the reason y'all see me every day. But prior to getting to this point of conviction, I quit a couple times, man. Voch has done it a couple times, but I will say Boss is the guy that really keep me going, man. He'll call me when I really have quit. Like, y'all won't see me for months, and I'll be chilling. You know what I mean? Money cool, family cool. I'll be like, I'll watch y'all. I'll just be watching y'all shit. Y'all see me in the comments talking shit or something, but I won't jump on and do nothing. And the computer right here, ain't nothing wrong with the computers or the cameras. Nothing. I always have a studio. I just didn't have a passion for it, man, because I felt like I kept, having to restart, and it's a lot to do. Yeah. But Boss is one of those guys that's always been in my ear, man, making it so that, like, I really keep going at this. So, like I said it before and I say it again, like, me and you, I can't tell my story without Boss and a couple other guys, but you one of them, man. I can't tell my story without you, man. So I definitely am grateful for you, for sure.
No, I appreciate
and I say that publicly.
And I'm going to say this publicly. What I also
because I love doing this, man. You have no clue how much I love football. I've been sitting here. It's 11 o'clock Eastern, right? I got home at 5:30. I've been sitting here since 6 o'clock. I did a video right before this. I talked to y'all. I said, whatever day y'all want to go. Y'all said, let's go tonight. I just ain't get up. I just stayed here the whole time. I've been here like 6 hours. And I worked the full time. I worked full time before I got here at the houses that I got. So I'm like, this is how much I love this shit. And I was up 4 o'clock in the morning dropping something this morning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm here, man, and I'll bang with you for that, man. Thank you.
No
I do
doubt.
appreciate
I
you.
want to also say the other thing that I say behind the scenes too. I say that because Akoye the best, bro. And that's the other thing I say. That's the other thing I say. It's like, bro, you too dope to almost take breaks. Like, the streets miss Akoye when he not in the streets.
There won't be no breaks. I'll be broke. I'm gone. I'm out.
Like,
I'll be out because you'll call me, curse me out for like an hour. Like, no, dog, come back.
You too dope, bro. And because I gotta say this, because we don't do this enough as brothers and men. It's good to sometimes say, dog, this man got the voice, he has the mind, he has the integrity, he has the work ethic, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean this, bro. I ain't kissing your ass when I say this. I can listen to a talk about badminton, bro. Like, anything sports related. Like, just I'm not bullshitting. Like, turn him on when he talking boxing. He go shock you, bro.
Boxing is my first love. Yeah, like football, I know more about. My brother is the football. My brother was my late brother DJ Dennis Coit was the football player in the family. We both played ball, but he was the one that took it there. I was the boxer my whole life, so boxing is my thing. Football was his. Man. I just understand it.
Yeah, and you just call at it, bro. And I just want to see people like yourself just get what your gifts say you supposed to get, bro. Like, real talk. You gifted as hell.
I appreciate it.
You gifted as hell. So I want to see you get as high as you supposed to get, bro. Because to me, you're not even close to what you're supposed to be. You a national voice, bro. Like,
I've been on 30% or less since y'all seen me. This is the first time I've ever been this consistent with dropping content ever. I've never done that since I started this. Never. So definitely agree. I never have applied myself fully to this. So y'all gonna see it though this year and beyond. I ain't going nowhere. And like I said, Lou, I'm getting to know you. You new to me, but at the end of the day, like I could see your passion, and I also see the technicality. I didn't know till we did our last live. You know what I mean? After we finished arguing, we started saying, all right, well, we ain't gonna tell each other how to grade. And once I saw what angle you grade from, I said, oh, he grades like a coach. You know what I'm saying? Based off of responsibility. Like I told him to do that, so he's doing it, and I ain't mad at it. And I was grading from like if you sent me as a scout, if you Saban and I'm a scout, and you say, hey, go to this high school game and tell me who's rocking. I'm that guy. I'm gonna go tell you. You might want to look at this guy. I don't care what you do with him, but he this star recruit type of, you know what I mean, because of his effect. So once I understood that, it wasn't no more disagreement from me. I seen where you was coming from. So like I said, you new to me, but I do, you know what I mean, I appreciate you giving me grace enough to be able to like not only apologize, but to feel free to even share the screen with me, because that embarrasses me. I don't like black men getting on TV or getting on anything and doing the Zeus Network shit. That's not what I'm into. That's what I really am about. I'm about uplifting people and bringing people together. I'm a coach. You know what I mean? I don't do that. And then I got people watching me too. I got my son. My sons don't like shit like that. And we don't get down like that, man. So like I said, I appreciate you even, you know, being the man that you are. Dead serious. So thank you.
Dead ass, man. Let's get up out of here, man. Let's get up out of here. All right, man. We're going to be back on Wednesday talking linebacker, man, with the OG Akoye and Lou. We're going to have some more people in the house. We out.
Shout out my haters, I know that you're watching.
Make sure y'all like it.
I just want to talk to you niggas.
Subscribe to all the channels, man. Let's go.
Make this the first one.